Welcome to the Young and Bold. It's your girl Destiny.
And hi, I'm Crystal.
So today we have some great things in store for you all. As the title shows, as you saw, it is reset, refocus, reprioritize, finding your motivation again. Today is a girls talk. We are excited to uplift each other, inspire one another, and I'm excited to get some advice from the millennials and the people here that's going to show me the ropes before I graduate school.
Okay, so we have a great guest for today. Before we bring her on, I'm just going to introduce her. Her name is Jennifer Pope. Jennifer Pope is the founder and CEO and chief clinical therapist of J Pope and Associates LLC, a private mental health group practice located in Baltimore, Maryland. Jennifer developed her passion for mental health and innate duty to help others while attending high school in Baltimore. She then graduated from Morgan State University with her bachelor's degree in science and psychology in 2006, continuing her desire to become a clinician in the mental health field. She attended University of Maryland, Baltimore School of Social Work, receiving her master's of social work with a concentration in mental health in 2012. She has been a licensed certified social worker, clinical and BSWB approved clinical supervisor. She also holds a certificate in advanced trauma therapy. Jennifer is an active community advocate working with various community organizations. She's passionately assists programs that serve children and young adults to strengthen the fight of lowering the stigma of mental health, homelessness, adequate education, services for children, improving self esteem in children, eliminating bullying, and various community give back events through Baltimore City. She recently published her first book entitled Music is My Therapy, a self-help workbook that introduces the healing power of music in mental health. Her passion drives her to continue to serve the community in her professional efforts to lowering mental health stigma, provide clinical services to underserved communities, and encourage everyone to achieve their optimum level of wellness. So, the reason that we chose Jennifer to be a guest on our show today is because, like Destiny said, the topic is going to be pretty much based around finding your motivation again. And I know some people may be dealing with stressful situations, especially coming out of the pandemic, and then new students that's starting school, just starting college, or just graduating college and dealing with the adult life. So yeah, we're gonna bring Jennifer on just to hear her side of how to handle certain situations and get her perspective, get a professional's perspective on certain situations. So let's welcome Jennifer.
Hey.
Hello, ladies.
Thanks for coming on our show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I appreciate the opportunity to speak to you guys today.
I love how you worked with music and you mentioned how music can be therapy because I wrote an article my first semester at University of Maryland and I talked about how music can affect people's mood and how it helped through the pandemic. And I was going through the same thing that I was writing about from my article and I just feel like we connected.
Yeah, yeah. We're hitting all the good points. Yeah, you're exactly right.
What
But I
songs do you like
definitely
to listen to?
Say that one more time.
What songs do you like to listen to, like to uplift yourself?
So I have a whole different array of playlists on my phone. Like it's crazy. So I have like a morning motivation playlist. I have a get it done playlist. I have a You're Beautiful playlist. So, I
Mm.
have different playlists for different types of motivation. But I listen to all types of music, anywhere from jazz and instrumentals to some heavy metal. So,
No, I thought she was about to say country, and I was gonna say you lost me, but
yeah, I do. I have country music as well.
oh shoot.
Listen, don't sleep on country music. Country music and R&B mirrors each other. You would be
Hmm.
surprised take the time to listen to those songs, the themes are all the same.
Okay.
I agree. Country music can, I mean, I'm not really like, I don't have no country music playlist or anything, but there are a few country songs that, you might bop your head to or
Yeah,
into or something.
yeah.
But go ahead. I'm sorry.
I said I love country music.
Uh, so let's get straight into it as far as dealing with stressing, during, like I said, during the pandemic. And some people still have some effects of the pandemic, even though we aren't shut in like we were 2 years ago, but some people are still dealing with it mentally, and some financially haven't caught up to, where they were or where they want to be. So can you speak to us on how should we handle stress? Like, what's the best way to deal with, let's say somebody was in an abusive relationship or something, and they are afraid to get out, and then they stressing on not wanting to let anybody know, like they don't want to go to family or tell family because they're embarrassed. So they stressing and dealing with it. So how would someone, what would be your response if someone came to you with that situation?
Um, so that particular type of situation, I always talk to clients and people who come to me and ask me for advice in any situation where you feel like you have a major decision to make, or you're just unsure, and that particular decision is weighing on you. One of the easiest ways to kind of give you a clear path of what you should do is you see which outweighs the cost or the reward. What is it going to cost you to stay in this relationship? What is it going to cost
Mm,
you to remain in this household or in this environment? Because it's going to cost you something.
Right.
Um, and then you look on the other hand and see, okay, if I leave, what is the reward? What would I gain? What would be elevated or what would improve? And when you see which side is greater, you can kind of better make a decision moving forward from there. Um, but just handling stress in general, stress is natural and normal. You're not going to avoid stress, but it's about the way that you handle the stress. Trying to find the most healthiest coping mechanisms to use to deal with stress um, will help improve your outlook on the situation. So, for an example, it's very hard for people to be optimistic in this day and age, especially with so many different things happening simultaneously. But perception truly is everything. So you can turn your stress and turn it into a way that could either motivate you. You could turn your stress into a learning experience. You could turn your stress into believing, okay, I'm being trained and being paid for something better or greater on the other end. So I would basically say if you can kind of maneuver or change your perception of how you deal with life and the situations and the things that are happening to you, you can better manage your stress level, even maybe eliminate your stress level altogether. It's all about your perception and how you approach life.
so where do you find the, I don't know, the balance between preaching and practicing? Because I feel like sometimes it's hard. Like, I can easily tell you, and I tell my friends, like, I'm telling you how to deal with this because I need to listen to how I should deal with this. But that don't mean that I'm gonna do it. And it
Right.
gets hard. Sometimes it's very easy to give people advice, but then practicing what you preach, and you are like a professional. So I assume that it's probably, I don't know if it's more difficult for you or what is that like?
So balance is an ongoing journey. You are always going to have, am I doing enough here or am I doing enough there? Am I, listening to my advice enough, or am I, you know, um, behaving in the way that I'm telling people to behave? That's something you'll always kind of, teeter and struggle with. Well, not even struggle, but just kind of, it depends on the day. It depends on what's going on in your life. This is a very, the response to a question like that is, very subjective. But
Mm-hmm.
for me personally, um, I often try to stay with a positive mindset as much as I can. So even when I struggle with, for instance, like work life balance, I listen to my body. I believe that our bodies will tell us when we are doing too much of one thing. Um, so just being more introspective, um, giving myself a self check every now and then, where I'm like, okay, girl, where you at? What are you doing? Are you meeting your goals? Doing that self check in is really important. I have self checking often, probably more than most people. So, um, it just helps me to stay on track, and it also helps me to see, okay, you pushing, you doing your work, you getting to your goals, but what have you done with your family? So you might be
Mm,
slacking on that. So maybe you need to, have lunch with the family. Maybe you need to have a family day out. You know, um, so kind of having that self check in is necessary. Even if you need to make a little reminder and put it in your phone and give you a notification like Bing, all right, it's time to check in with yourself. What you doing this week? Those kinds of things, often will have you reevaluate what's going on in your life, and you see where you need to add a little something or take something away. So I would suggest, doing a self check in.
Okay. So I definitely agree with that. And then I was getting ready to ask about different techniques of reaching a goal. And that is definitely one of them. Self checking and making sure that you are on track to reach it, that particular goal. Let's say you set a goal like, all right, I want to lose 10 pounds by next month. So in a week, you gotta set that reminder, like, okay, see where you are in a week, and then um, the next week, and just trying to monitor things so you can stay on that track to complete that goal. So I have a
And
question. Oh, say, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, I just wanted to add, have an accountability partner. Somebody
Oh,
to stay on top of your behind with the
that
goal.
too.
So if you want to lose 10 pounds, you should have a friend that's going to be like, hey, girl, where you at? And you're like, oh, I'm at Burger King. No, no, no. Get out the line. You said you're going to wait, so you need to go to Kava or something. Like, get
Exactly.
So, have an accountability partner that is going to help you stay accountable to the goal that you set for yourself is also a good suggestion to achieve goals.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with that. Now I was getting ready to ask Destiny a question. So you are in your senior year or junior year in college?
Senior year, but I'll be super.
Oh, okay. So going well, you are in your pretty much your last year of college, and you what are some techniques or what are some techniques that you've had that helped you get to the point of where you are, as far because I know the college life can be the partying, and then you got your group of friends that want to be out every weekend. And
Mm.
Jennifer, you can answer this as well. I know you've gone through college, you have your masters and your bachelors, all that good stuff, so you can chime in as well. But I want to hear for Destiny, like, how do you what techniques did you use to get where you are? Because I know you had to have a goal in mind to even like get to this far in college. So
Not y'all put me on the spot because I thought I was gonna be the one taking the advice this whole time.
I mean, we all giving each other
Advice.
advice, and then anybody else that's
Yeah, I can help
watching can
somebody.
take,
I can
like,
help
yeah,
somebody.
that's what I'm gonna say. So somebody that's your age, their last year in college, might need to, hear what you gotta say, and
Um, okay, so I mean, COVID definitely helped me get to where I am right now. I have to therapy. Therapy is my number one. Therapy is not for everybody, and I need to re-enroll before I hit like a pit. But when I tell y'all, therapy was my accountability partner because when I would like complain about my time management, I don't know how to do this, I don't know how to do that. I knew that when I had that session on Thursday of next week, he's gonna ask me about something that anybody else is not gonna have the courage to ask me about. Oh, did you do what I suggested? Did you do this? You had this plan. Did you actually follow it? So I could say therapy was one of my best things, and then two more things. A good circle, like your friends and your family. I have people around me that are better than me in different aspects. I'm not saying that I'm the worst human being in the world, but some of my friends are more business savvy. Some of them have better vocabulary, and some of them are all around more optimistic than me. I'm a realist, so that sometimes comes off as negative, but I have people around me that are different. And then the only other thing I would suggest is having faith in something. I'm not saying that you have to necessarily believe in God, but believing in a form of higher power or something will keep you motivated, and it's like a light at the end of the tunnel almost. And that's really what kept me and got me this far.
Okay. I like that.
All,
Definitely.
all of those are great.
Oh,
Yeah,
thank you.
I was gonna say definitely. Yeah, that's great. And so Jennifer, I'm gonna ask you pretty much the same thing, but what motivated you to continue to get your master's? Because some people stop at the bachelor's and be like, okay, I'm just gonna
Yeah,
start
I'm
my career,
scared. That
whatever.
dissertation don't sound
So,
right to me.
so
Don't
what motivated you to continue on to get your master's?
I was very clear with my purpose in life,
Okay.
very young. And I knew that was a stepping stone. It had to happen. I had to obtain it to get to, you know, have license. I knew I had to get licensure to, open a practice. So, I did those steps. So I was very intentional with everything that I did, even down to the jobs that I had on my resume.
Mm,
Everything was very intentional. But also, you have to have a why. And I went to college. I graduated from Morgan. Um, very excited, to have my bachelor's. But then I became a mother, and I'm
mm.
like, yeah, so this ain't gonna be good enough. So that really pushed me to finish. And one of the things that kind of saw me through, because graduate school was really hard for me. Not hard necessarily academically, just with a whole lot of stuff happening in my life simultaneously. Um, I started graduate school nursing 6-month-old twins. So yeah, things were tough, really. But one of the things that I never allowed to happen, not finishing school was never an option for me. Dropping out was never an option for me. So even when, I didn't pass the test or I didn't get an A in a class or I knew I had a stacked semester with classes. It was never, I'm going to just take a break or I'm going to just not do graduate school right now and come back to it. My mentality was you're going to finish and you're going to finish on time. So I didn't give myself an option. It wasn't even considered.
So being that you're a mother, and I just feel like you're an all around, helping healer. So how do you motivate your kids? Like, how do you try as a mother to motivate them? Because you probably have like being that you're educated, you probably know better ways to motivate now that will impact them directly. So how do you do that for your children?
You have to know your child and
Mm,
what motivates them because although I have twins, they are very different, completely
mm.
different. And what motivates one does not do anything for the other. So know your children. But I think to motivate children in general, offering some type of reward system always motivates kids. If they know that they can accomplish a task and there's some type of reward at the end of it, it will help them work harder, work stronger, work faster to get to that reward. So the reward, has to be something worthwhile, something that they see some value in, and usually, that can keep them on point and on track. But also, just talk about how, you take these steps into getting into greater things. One thing I always talk to my sons about is that what you do today is the reward that you're going to receive tomorrow. You might not get that reward today. It's going to be
Mm.
something in the future that you're going to get. So when you don't get something, look at what you did yesterday and the day before that And if that did not, if you didn't, if your task and your behavior didn't align with the things you wanted for the future, it's because you didn't do what you were supposed to do back then. So, and another thing, I have boys. They're very easy to please, so they don't need much to keep them motivated. But I think that's with anybody, not even just children. If you see that there is a greater reward on the other end of your sacrifice and your work, and you keep that at the forefront, even if you gotta like name it, even if you have to like put it and paste it and put it on your refrigerator or on your where's your mirror in your car, so that it's something that you consistently see every day, and you're constantly reminded of what your goal is and what your reward that you're working for. I think that keeps you on track. It keeps you in line.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that, especially like, having a reward because I have a daughter, she's 9. And if I say, Autumn, I need you to do this, and if this gets done by this date, then, we can go to Sky Zone or do
Hmm.
something, because I know that's something that she wants to do. So I know to, do that. And then another thing I was going to add is having a kid. Some people don't realize, but kids look up to what they see. So if you're, as a parent, if you are out here, getting up every day, going to work, and doing stuff, and then don't be afraid if you are able to, bring your kids along to see exactly what you do and what keeps you going, then that child is going to be motivated to keep going, because they'd be like, oh, I see my mother, she works so hard, she does this and that. And then that's what they're going to learn to do once they get older. So I feel like, being a good example and showing a kid um the steps and the ropes of, hard work, and how hard work does pays off. And then, like you said, you may not receive the reward the same day, but at the end of the week you might get something that, is it. So yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, I think it's all about divine timing.
Mm,
It's easier said than done to believe, because in college a lot of times this is like, dang, I got all these assignments, and degree is great, but a lot of times people don't use their degree after college. So it's like you have to keep the reality in mind that there's multiple people that will be that statistic that won't use that degree and won't be in their desired field. But then it's like you have to find a way to motivate yourself to keep pushing, so that you not not that you convince yourself that you're not going to be that, but in a sense that is what you have to do. Like, I have to do that. I'm a
mhm.
communication major now. I aspire to be a talk show host. I'm walking in it a little bit, but and I have my own radio show, but I have to think on a broader spectrum. Like, is this degree going to get me where I need it to be? It's not just the degree, it's the things I do outside of it, and how much I can motivate myself. So yeah, good luck to everybody listening. It's hard out here.
But also,
You know,
you should also kind of understand that mindset is the key to whether or not you achieve your goals. Is the
definitely.
mindset. So if you are giving yourself an out or the option of an out, you're probably going to take it.
Hmm.
Say, this is what I'm going to do. This is who I'm going to be, and you start to speak it like you're already there.
Exactly. And I
You
was going to say having, oh, sorry.
okay.
But I was going to say creating mantras and those positive affirmations. When you wake up in the morning, you can look in the mirror and say, hello, gorgeous. I'm Mary J. Blige song. But anyway, like you look yourself in the mirror and say, today is going to be a great day. Today I'm going to accomplish this. I'm going to get this done. I'm going to do this so this can happen. And that's something that motivates you and pushes you to complete a task or goal that you have set. And those positive affirmations will make you feel good about yourself. You can also do that with a kid, like with your child, and you feel as and you see like they might not be motivated to get up to go to school one day. So you can, feed those little things in their head, like make them believe that they are beautiful, they are smart, they, can achieve anything. All they got to do is put your mind to it. That would definitely motivate a kid and keep their mindset focused.
I am really big on affirmations.
Mm.
Those statements that you make to affirm what you
Hmm.
in your life is major. And I also believe in writing them down. So, even for the college student, you're struggling with graduation. Take a pen and paper and journal about what graduation is going to be like. Say, I'm going to wake up and I'm going to get fly. Talk about how you're going to wake. Talk about how you're going to get your nails done. What shoes you going to put on and what you're going to have on under your cap and gown. Talk about the perfume you're going to wear. Like, map out your whole graduation day. Have it in your head and write it down on paper. And those times when you really feel like it's hard, when you feel like I ain't gonna pass this class, look at that paper. Let that motivate you. Really can motivate yourself. You can be a part of your own rescue, as they say, because we have so many answers and keys to life that are already within.
Mhm.
We don't utilize it. We don't tap into it. But the affirmations, you remember the show Being Mary Jane, how she had them all over the mirror,
Oh
and
yeah.
it's an amazing idea. I wish more people did that because everywhere you turn, if you had something pouring into you simultaneously when you wasn't even expecting it, that is going to have a major effect on how you see yourself, how you behave, the output that you have into the world. There's power in these words that you can put around yourself. So, you know, writing stuff down on paper, journaling, very important.
I
Yeah.
definitely agree with that. Excuse me. You was getting ready to say something, Destiny?
Yeah, I was gonna say I think the affirmations is a good look so that you don't lose sight. And like a lot of times what we pray for, we're walking in. Like when we start walking in it, we don't realize that that's what we pray for. Like
Hmm.
example, I was at another school and then I prayed to get in here. And now I'm here praying for different things. And then, like I got that job, I got that radio show. And it's so easy to lose sight and how far you've come. And I think that's where the like power of the affirmation can be. Like you really had the strength to move forward and you're not giving yourself enough grace or recognition. Like you
Yep,
you really that girl. You got this far.
yep.
Exactly. And then I feel like don't be afraid to toot your own horn or brag on yourself, and show people that you may not be where you want to be, but you're not where you were, dealing with certain situations. Um, I was gonna
Because
say
slow progress is still progress.
yes,
You know,
definitely.
I think that we don't take enough um, gratitude in the forward movement, whether it be slow or fast. We, live in a society we want everything immediately. Like we want it right now, and there's so much to be treasured in the journey. Um,
Yeah.
that,
Mm.
we get so caught up in the end goal, but like even though I was in school for, I felt like forever. I mean, I was in school forever. Um, all of the things that I experienced and learned while I matriculated in school, priceless.
Hmm.
I never would have wanted to have fast tracked that. I really
Exactly.
got a lot of gems in that point in time and people that I met, relationships I facilitated, lessons I learned. Um, yeah, I wouldn't change that for anything. Like you feel like when you're in it, you just want it to be over. But when you
Right.
take some time and really think about where I am, how who would kill to be where I'm at right now?
Exactly.
Mm.
Who don't have access to higher education and they're not able to sit in the classroom? Who is not able to sit in a classroom with people from Michigan, California, Florida. So I'm able to access people who live differently than me. Like all of those things are small treasures that we
Hmm.
often, take for granted because everybody does not have that.
Exactly. And then I was gonna say that I was always told to never minimize small beginnings, because that small beginning could lead to something big that you never expected. And I know
Yep.
just for you have your own private practice. So it's like you probably you probably had set in your mind that this is what you wanted, but you never realized the steps that you had to take to get to that point, and the
Oh, I,
people that you had to go through and meet and all that good stuff just to get where you are now.
listen, that's a whole nother show by itself. Okay. I mean, I definitely had the goal. This is what I want. And they always say be careful what you pray for because you see the outcome.
The glitters and the
You don't
gold.
necessarily know the steps that's involved. Now, granted,
Exactly.
again, I wouldn't change it for nothing because what I gained, the knowledge I gained, um, in doing and setting things up and getting my practice off the ground, priceless for sure. Um, however, when I was in high school, and I was like, yeah, I want to own my own company and a private practice. I had no idea what I had to do to actually get it. So I mean, having the goal in mind is good, but knowing the steps is a key too.
Right.
So I have a question. Since we're talking about journey, moving forward, growth, all that. Uh, Recently I had an encounter, and we had fallouts. Truths come out. When you're mad, people don't have a filter. So recently, somebody came for my growth, and my vision of growth, it's not linear. It's not perfect. It's like you go back to your bad habits, and sometimes you move forward. It's like not necessarily 5 steps forward, 2 steps back, but it's not a idea of perfection as we would all want. So my question is, have you ever had a situation where someone came for your growth? Being that you're in a situation where you're basically like, helping people to better themselves, and how did you handle that?
I strongly suggest keep someone in your circle who will call you on your. It's
Mm-hmm.
it's critical in your upward movement because you need someone who you respect to give you that girl. What are you doing? Somebody who loves you enough to have that conversation because most people will just sit back and watch you decline and not say anything because they're scared they're going to offend you or they're scared that if I say something to her she might stop being my friend. Keep that person around you that's going to pull you up and be like what is happening here, what are you doing? That's not what we discussed. You said you wanted to be here. What you're doing is not getting you. Need that kind of person around. I am blessed. I have several people around me like that, and family and friends, and I truly appreciate them having those tough conversations with me when
Mm-hmm.
they are that you're not reaching your full potential, or you're not doing what you said you were doing, or you neglecting what you set forth to do, or I know you can do better than this. Some people will take that and get offended, but you have to be in a mind frame again, back to mindset where everything is constructive criticism. Even the people that come to tear you down, that can still you can still find some tidbits in there of things you probably need to do or probably need to work on. Um, so when somebody comes for your growth, it's about how you take it. Are you looking at it like, oh my goodness, you don't know what I'm going through, and you get offended, or you look at it and be like, you know what, you might be right. Maybe there is a different way I could have approached that. Maybe it is something I need to do. You're right. Maybe I am scrolling on TikTok a little too much, and I'm not getting my book on hitting the books like I said I was going to. Like, so you have to. It's about how you perceive what people are giving you.
Yeah,
That was good. I was just in a trance for a minute listening. Sorry, I didn't know what to say.
Yeah, I mean, people. The criticism is it. I don't see destructive criticism when you're tearing
Hmm.
me down. 'Cause even when you're tearing me down, you're pointing out things that I probably already saw. Number one, it might be something I'm already working on. And you just have not seen what I'm working on, and that's fine. It's like appreciate your opinion, and you make the necessary changes you need to make and keep it moving because everybody doesn't see what you do 24/7. So,
exactly.
you might have say, okay, this is what I see, but you might tell them, okay, this is what you see, but this is what I'm doing on the back end that you don't know about. So you might have to correct them, like, no, I am working on this. You just don't know about it. You might not have access to that part of my life. So
True.
it's about how you perceive what's being said to you, what's being presented to you. Like I said, mindset is everything.
Okay, so real quick, we just gonna not necessarily switch it up, but we're going to talk about things that you wish you knew before you turned 25.
Ooh, child.
So, so, and then this segment, this part of the show is pretty much for like, people that's destiny age. Because what you 21, right?
Yeah,
That's
I can say things I wish I knew before I was 21.
well, yeah, you can fit in on that. So yeah, we just gonna go talk about something that you really wish you knew now that you knew before you was 25. Now, I can go first with this one. So I wish I knew more about credit and financial literacy.
Mm,
Mm-hmm.
And reason being, of course, there are a lot of like financial literacy courses and stuff that or instructors that talk about it and things like that. But I wish they would have taught financial literacy in high school to give the kids a better understanding of finances,
mm,
budgeting, credit cards. Like some kids, 18, they get offered a credit card as soon as they get into college, and then they run that credit card up, and that right there messes up your credit score because they're not paying it on time or don't pay it at all. So that's my main thing. I wish I knew more about credit and financial literacy. I probably would be in a different position than what I am now financially. But what about you, Jennifer?
Oh my goodness, so much.
mhm.
I wish I could go back and talk to my younger self. That would be so dope. Um, so it's a few different points. And I'll be brief with them. One, don't take out a student loan. It's so much grant money out here, so many scholarships out here, and I was never. I mean, I knew about it, but it was never taught to me. Like, don't even accept this money. Like, don't even look at it. Because it looks so enticing
Hmm.
when you oh, you're gonna give me how much, and then you're not thinking about the long game with the student loans. So that's one of the biggest things I wish somebody really sat down and explained. Like, don't take these loans out because there is money out here to cover your financially for your education.
Right.
Um, Another thing, I wish someone told me. Um, I wish someone told me that you should really start setting aside money for retirement because you're
Mm,
young. You don't think about it. You're
Mhm.
so far removed from it. But when you're in your 30s and you're like, if I would have put
Exactly.
away from every paycheck, like
Mm-hmm.
I could be in a whole nother tax bracket. Seriously, with just what I have in my retirement account. Um, so I think that when you're young, you live in for you have goals, you think about the future, but you're not really being strategic with how you are moving
Right.
in your future. I think that can be definitely talked about way more with young people. Um, Another thing I would tell my younger self is to never buy a brand new car. It's a big, huge waste of money. Um, and those things. And another thing would be talk to your elders more.
mm,
I saw such a greater value as I got older with just having conversation with my grandmother, talking with older aunts and uncles. When you're young, you're running. You want to be around your friends. You want to live your life. But if you take that time to let some elderly people pour into you and tell you what do you think, I should do. Now, granted, it's going to be a little different because they're from a different time.
Right.
They have so many jewels to give to the next generation. I think that we don't take
Mm-hmm.
enough stock in that. Like talking to your elders, and respecting their viewpoints and opinions is huge.
Okay. And Destiny. So you just turned 21.
Hmm.
So what do you wish you knew before you turned 21?
I wish I practiced this before I was 21, letting go of things so you don't struggle with it later. I'm one of them people that I don't see a point in addressing issues right away, so I just try to let it go. But then it festers up, and then that's not healthy. It's not good at all. So learn, and I think that it's also because maybe it's easier for people that have like a lot of siblings. I have my brother, and we have such a big age gap. So when we had our little arguments, it was over, but it wasn't often. I didn't like bicker with anyone all the time growing up. So like friendships, when we deal with that type of stuff, it's too much for me. So if I was before I was 21, I learned how to have these encounter these things with people because everyone's different, and how to combat with them and
Yeah.
healthily, deal with the issues earlier. That would have been great. So find your coping mechanisms now before you get to college and deal with an array of people and personalities that you have to deal with. And my
Mm,
second one is, it's okay to put yourself first. Being
yeah.
a giver, sometimes people take. And I don't believe in giving to receive, because that's not giving out of a good heart to me. You don't give just so that person could give you $20 back in 2 weeks. That's crazy. If you don't
Right.
have the $20, don't give it out. But if you don't have it within you mentally to be there for that person, you have to put yourself first. You should not allow yourself or your friends to just be codependent on one another, when there will be an occasion where you just need yourself. And
Mm.
that's okay. And I wish I knew that a little earlier.
Now I have one more thing that I wanted to say that I thought about, and for me, I wish that I knew the importance of setting boundaries. Setting boundaries for healthy relationships. Now, you might think like, oh, you should have been knew that, or whatever the case may be, but some stuff you gotta, I feel like you gotta experience some
Mhm.
things in order to learn from them. But I feel like before I was 25, I wish somebody would have set me down and said, okay, set these boundaries with certain friends or any like relationship or even family. So because some people might have family that just, I don't know, but
Overstep.
yeah.
Especially family.
Like, people think that family is the exception for things, and that's not it.
Absolutely not. Absolutely. That's
Sometimes,
the first people you need to set boundaries with.
okay.
Yeah, that was one of them too that I had thought about as you guys were talking. Excuse me.
Yes, I'm glad y'all put up some good points, and I'm gonna rewatch this show, mm, and maybe learn for some things for myself. But before we close, I want y'all to give 2 words to people, like 2 words that will, help them move forward. Like, my word is gonna be grace
Great.
and peace, and I want y'all to give 2 words to our viewers.
Hmm.
Um, my two words are mindset and intention.
Mm.
Mine is I gotta think of some good words. Um, well, setting boundaries and having integrity,
Okay,
principles and integrity.
Integrity is a big one. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
got some good things. Okay. As much as all of this talk, our show has to come to a close. And first I gotta thank God, because I really think that He's been giving me signs that I've been trying to ignore. And today He gave me the sign that I couldn't ignore just because of you, Miss Pope. Okay.
Oh, okay.
You
Well,
are the reason.
I'm,
Listen,
I'm
people.
and I didn't even know.
Exactly. He worked through you because I needed it, and it was divine timing. So thank you personally from me and from our viewers. Thank you for the wisdom that you've given us. And we just want to thank everyone who tuned in. Please make sure that give us any comments, any questions, concerns. We're here to help. We're here to talk, and we love interactions. I hope to see you guys soon next month.
Yeah, so yes, again, thank you, Miss Jennifer Pope, for joining us on the show. And anybody that's watching, please don't forget to like, share, and comment. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram, Elevation Global Media Group, and you'll see the Young and Bold team. We have some things coming up and some things that we might, that we have going on. So keep an eye out on Elevation Global Media Group. And just like Destiny said, we'll be here the fourth Monday of each month. So we'll catch you guys again next month. Thank you for watching.
Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it.
Bye.
All right.
Have a
Bye.
ladies.
You
Thanks.
too.